The story of Martha and Mary, a tale of priorities, faith, and devotion. The story of Martha and Mary, two sisters who were close friends of Jesus, is a rich and deeply human tale found in the Gospels. It reveals profound truths about priorities, faith, and devotion to Christ. The sisters' home in Bethany. Martha and Mary lived in the small village of Bethany, not far from Jerusalem. Their home was a place of refuge and friendship for Jesus during his ministry. The sisters were part of a close-knit family that included their brother, Lazarus, whom Jesus would later raise from the dead. Martha, the elder sister, was practical, hospitable, and hardworking. She was the kind of person who ensured everything was in order and thrived in serving others. Mary, on the other hand, was reflective and contemplative, with a heart that often sought spiritual depth and connection. Jesus visits Martha and Mary. One day, Jesus and his disciples arrived in Bethany. As news of their visit spread, Martha sprang into action, preparing food and making arrangements to welcome her guests. She wanted everything to be perfect for Jesus, whom she deeply loved and respected. Mary, however, had a different response. As soon as Jesus entered their home, she sat at his feet, listening intently to his teachings. Her eyes were fixed on him, her heart absorbing every word. The contrast between the sisters was stark. Martha bustled about, working tirelessly in the kitchen, ensuring that her guests were cared for. Meanwhile, Mary remained at Jesus' feet, seemingly oblivious to the demands of hosting. Martha's frustration. As the weight of her responsibilities grew, Martha began to feel overwhelmed. She glanced into the room and saw Mary sitting there, not lifting a finger to help. Her frustration bubbled over. Finally, she approached Jesus and said, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me." Martha's words were a mixture of exasperation and a subtle plea for validation. She expected Jesus to side with her, to affirm her hard work and rebuke Mary's perceived idleness. Jesus' gentle rebuke. But Jesus' response was not what Martha expected. With kindness and love, he said, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." Jesus' words were not a condemnation of Martha's service, but a gentle reminder of her misplaced priorities. He acknowledged her hard work but pointed out that Mary had chosen the greater thing, being fully present with him. The lesson was clear. While service is valuable, devotion to Christ must come first. The death of Lazarus. Later, Martha and Mary's faith would be tested in a profound way. Their brother, Lazarus, fell gravely ill. The sisters sent word to Jesus, believing he would come quickly to heal Lazarus. But Jesus delayed, and Lazarus died. When Jesus finally arrived in Bethany, Lazarus had been in the tomb for 4 days. Martha was the first to meet him. Though grieving, her faith was evident as she said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus replied with a promise. "Your brother will rise again." Martha, with her strong understanding of Scripture, affirmed her belief in the resurrection at the last day. But Jesus declared, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die." Do you believe this? Martha responded with unwavering faith. "Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God." Mary, overcome with grief, later came to Jesus weeping. Her sorrow moved Jesus deeply, and the Bible records the shortest yet most poignant verse. Jesus wept. His compassion for Mary and her pain was evident. The miracle of Lazarus. Jesus went to the tomb and commanded the stone to be rolled away, despite Martha's practical objection. "But, Lord, by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there 4 days," she obeyed. With a loud voice, Jesus called out, "Lazarus, come out!" To everyone's astonishment, Lazarus emerged from the tomb, alive and well, wrapped in burial cloths. This miraculous event strengthened the faith of Martha, Mary, and all who witnessed it. Lessons from Martha and Mary. The story of Martha and Mary offers timeless lessons. Balance in service and devotion. Martha's service was not wrong, but her priorities were. Like Mary, we must first sit at Jesus' feet, finding spiritual nourishment before serving others. Faith in the face of loss. Both sisters demonstrated faith amid grief, trusting Jesus even when his timing seemed delayed. Jesus' compassion. Whether in Martha's busyness or Mary's sorrow, Jesus met each sister where she was, addressing their needs with love and understanding. Martha and Mary's story is a reminder that in both our work and our worship, our ultimate focus should always be on Christ.